evening, everybody. Prime time Sunday night, a special evening tonight. We're juxtaposed in the first, right out of the gate, blizzard ice storm of the year here on the East Central Plains of Kansas. You're listening to the Jacobson Report on KOFO 1220 and 103.7 FM. Caroming across the globe on KOFO.com. And Sean Torres, super engineer, puts this up on our vaunted podcast as well. Go to KOFO.com and look for our podcast, The Jacobson Report. We are sponsored by Midwest Renewable Energy, LLC, Jim and Cindy Jandren, Ethanol, Renewable Fuels, Energy for a Strong America. It's lean, it's clean, and it's green. Just think, we are creating revenue vectors for our ag families, keeping the food supply in the United States controlled by American families, not concentrated corporatists, and also staying away from those Mid-East terror dollars of exchange, making America energy independent, and also sponsored by Life Runners. Go to liferunners.org. Get your t-shirt today like the lovely and gracious Deborah Jacobson, who walks and runs for life, creating a culture of life, helping expectant mothers, and both before birth and during birth and after birth, helping children along the way, and once they have been born, as well as their mothers, creating a culture of life from womb to tomb. liferunners.org. Well, our political potpourri tonight, kind of an homage to the old McLaughlin Group on PBS. We've got with us Jacob Hall, the editor and founder of the vaunted Iowa Standard. We have Gary Leffler, the Trump tractor man, who is going to be at the inauguration, and former rock star for the Rentals, Sherry Lynn Westrich, the blonde-haired gal who played the Moog and sang on MTV's #1 video in 1995. And then she hosted that great cable hit, Overhaulin', and now it's only the third greatest accomplishment of her life, but she is an Iowa State Senator, Sherry Lynn Westrich. Thank you for joining us. How are you guys all doing this evening? Let me go to you, Sherry Lynn, first.
Thank you, John, and a Happy New Year to you. I'm doing fantastic. Couldn't be better.
You've had some really great stuff going on in your business as well. What I like are citizen politicians that actually meet payrolls and sign paychecks. And Sherry Lynn, when you and I were in the Iowa House, we were a breath of fresh air because we were private entrepreneurial business people. Gary Leffler, you've taken entrepreneurship to a new level. You have taken the idea of a tractor, which millions of Americans have had over the years, but you have the most famous tractor in America. Tell us about it, Gary.
Well, it's just really a tribute to all of the people in America. You know, we did it with the Ford 1957 860 tractor, one of the tractors that was really the backbone of the early agricultural years. And then we've painted it with a patriotic theme. And, you know, John, just to go into the veterans events and to the Back the Blue events, and then to be a strong supporter, obviously, of President Trump. It's been just a fantastic ride, and my wife and I, we have enjoyed every minute of it. And just, I just wished I had $1 for everyone that's had a picture on it. I'd be in John Jacobson category.
Well, Gary Leffler, I'll tell you, if you brought that tractor down here and put some Ottawa Braves swag on it, and of course, we are proudly the Omaha Braves, the Ottawa tribe, very much insistent on that affiliation with the university. They insist on the arrowhead as the logo. And if you donned the imprint of our high school Cyclones, and as we are at this station here at KOFO, the official home and away voice of the Kansas City Royals, don some KOFO Kansas City Royals, you could have even a new life down here in the KC Metro, Gary. So just remember, we got your back.
We'll make that happen. I look forward to that.
And Jacob Hall, Jacob, you have built a media empire as a truly independent, read it as not suck-up sycophant. You are a truly independent voice for conservatism in the Midwest with a huge readership to boot. Jacob, how did you build that from scratch into such a politicians fear some of your truth-telling?
Yeah, John, thanks for having me on. I think the key is, and I tell people this all the time when they try to start their own little grassroots movement, you have to be patient. And you have to remember if it's going to be worth it and last, you're going to have to build that thing on a pretty solid foundation. And usually things that built real quick fall apart real quick. So really just patience, telling the truth, giving the people a voice, and not allowing the quote unquote establishment, the powers that be, to really kind of dictate and control the conversation. I think people can see through that now, and they really admired somebody who's just authentic.
Well, we're delighted to have Jacob Hall, Gary Loeffler, and Shirley Lynn Westrich on tonight. The only negative thing I'll say about the three of them is I'm always mistrustful of anybody who would select me as a friend.
Very funny. Always with the one-liner, John. That's why we love you.
Hey, Shirley Lynn, what's better, being a rock star chick, being a TV hostess, or being an Iowa State senator?
You know, if I could only build cars at the Capitol on our breaks, that would make it all worth it. We'd just play some rock and roll, and we'd get in there and build cars, and then I think it would calm everyone's nerves as we try to legislate for the year, but it's hard to pick. You know, it's a life. I think I was built for change, and I always ask myself, all right, what's next? So we'll see.
Well, let's roll in here, Sean Torres. Issue 1. Name me one member of the United States House of Representatives who is not on Ozempic. I turn to you, Jacob. No, I just fake it. That was a head fake, Jacob.
Listen, for that, we just have to see who goes in for their gallbladder surgery first. And that seems to affect the gallbladder in quite a nice way.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're right. Okay, real issue number 1. We have a speaker this week amidst the backdrop of drama with only a 2-vote margin of error in the United States GOP House of Representatives. Contemplating again, would there be a multi-ballot fiasco trying to reach a speaker? Would Johnson prevail? Last minute telephoning and imploring by Trump to back Mike Johnson secures a first-round vote for Johnson after 2 move from non-support to support. Thomas Massie, the sole holdout, won it by just the margin he needed. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being bad news, 10 being metaphysically, certitudinally wonderful, how did the Johnson selection work out in your mind, Jacob Hall?
John, I'm going to say it works out to about a 5, but I'm going to say it would work out to about a 5 for anybody, because I don't see how anybody could oversee that legislative body effectively with that little of a margin.
Yeah.
And the wide array of Republicans that are in that margin. I really think you're almost setting whoever the speaker is up for failure. But if Mike Johnson wants to take it and try to tackle it, best of luck to him. I think the best thing we can hope for is that the speaker simply takes direction from President Trump, who just obviously led a red wave in 2024, and simply tries to just move forward with his agenda the best he can.
Yes, it's not, it's kind of like our huge listenership here tonight, all Kansas City Chiefs fans. It's kind of like the Chiefs all season long with so many narrow victories, but if you get victories, those count. Gary Loeffler, what say you? Mike Johnson, thumbs up, thumbs down, 1 to 10. How do you rate it?
The Chiefs thing is, obviously they had a couple more people on the field for them in striped shirts. So there was a lot of can you believe it moments. I would probably give the Mike Johnson victory a little bit higher score than Jacob, simply because it does show that members of Congress couldn't be sworn in until that position was filled. And we did not have to come right out of the starting gates with confusion, discombobulation, and so they came out of the chutes. I kind of give them a star there. And someone asked me, and I said, wait and watch. Trump and Elon are going to weigh in on this, and he's going to get across on the first ballot. And sure enough, that's what happened. But I think it does send a bigger message to the country that the Republicans are there. They're there to do business. And I think it's a huge step forward for the Republican Party, for the country. But there's that caveat that Jacob brings up, is basically 2 or 3 people can hold the entire body handicap hostage, as it were. And I think that's going to be a difficult road to hoe.
Sherry Lynn, not that you and I ever held the Iowa House hostage, but how do you rate the Johnson speakership?
We would never. I think that that Jacob Hall hit it on the head with the number 5, and for good reason. Are the members of Congress going to listen to Trump and to move his agenda? And that, to me, is also the most important aspect. I'm just going to keep the faith and cross my fingers, basically, and also keep a pen to paper and keep writing to my elected representatives, because, he's promised to drastically cut the government. He's going to cut the size of the government, and that was one of his statements that I heard. And if that is the truth, which I just hesitate to think that it's going to happen, because for 40 years we watch people make promises, but Trump keeps his promises. I hope that Mike Johnson keeps his promises and starts to really do what he says he's going to do. If you're saying you're going to do that, let's work together with Trump and with the Doge project and make that happen. So,
There you go. A 5. I hear a 7 from Gary and a 5. Jacobson weighs in and says 5. Not a fan of Johnson, but as Newt Gingrich says, Newt likes Johnson, says he's a good man, stand-up guy, very patient, and those are virtues that we need. And he said it was a big victory for Trump. His working the caucus had its effects and had a win. He says that's the paradigm for how Trump has continued to win. Issue 2, some breaking news. FBI asks ex-users to please stop solving crimes before they do. We'll have details on this later in the broadcast. Issue 2, U.S. Senate travails. John Thune the other day, the new Mitch McConnell, or should I say the new Senate Majority Leader, says he's not sure if all of Trump's nominees will be confirmed. I say that's your duty, Thune. What say you, Jacob Hall?
John, I'm really confused why Trump got involved in the race for speaker, but remained pretty silent as it related to the Senate Majority Leader, because I think a lot of Trump's problems have kind of festered from the Senate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And when you look at this, when you look at the sheer grassroots movement, basically, that Donald Trump has put together for his cabinet, I think if the Senate Republicans refuse or can't come together and just confirm his nominees, there's going to be heck to pay for the ones that stand in the way, because a lot of these people, I'm not going to say all of them, because I do think there's a couple that would probably be best not in the administration, but by and large, all but 2 or 3 of them should be given a chance. And I think they certainly represent what MAGA and America First is all about.
Great take. I'm going to move to Gary here in a second, but I'm just going to say I'll weigh in here second. We've got 8 problems in the Senate. Their names are McConnell, Thune, Murkowski, Collins, Graham, Cornyn, Tillis, and Ernst. What say you, Gary? Is Thune going to deliver the goods?
Well, Trump this time around, in my train of thought is this. He's got to ace up his sleeve, and that Elon Musk will say, if you guys don't toe the line, I'm going to put the money and resources behind somebody that will primary you. It'll be interesting to see how many of these catch-alongs that are going to be up for election in 2026, like Ernst, where, she's like, I got to vet Pete, and I got to make sure and I tell you what, Joni got such a firestorm that I know sources inside her campaign, and they told me we did not see that coming. I'm like, in what university did not see that coming?
Exactly.
These people, they want results. People gave up parts of their lives to go out and campaign for these people. And then you get on the goal line and you want to fumble the ball and screw around? I think Elon Musk might be the trump card and saying, and Trump must be holding this trump card to some extent and just saying, you want to jack with us? You want to screw with us? We'll find somebody, we'll primary you, and you'll be on the bench.
That's a great take. What say you, Sherry Lynn Westrich? And I preface my introduction of Sherry Lynn Westrich by saying Sherry Lynn was one who didn't knuckle under to the overtures of House Majority Leader Matt Wynn Schittler wanting everybody to get behind the high-heeled man from Florida with the elevator lofts in his cowboy boots. Sherry Lynn stood strongly and backed Trump like I did. Matt, you lose. But anyway, Sherry Lynn, what say you on John Thune?
Thank you. And it is true. I backed Trump before he ever announced that he was running. I was backing Trump, and that is really, his run was what got me into running for office and taking a stand. Is just seeing him take a stand for what was right, and with that, I would say these are his picks. So we need to confirm them. And, Thune, I think, has, received that kind of hands-off position from Trump because he has made those comments that he's going to get it done. He's going to, with those votes. And I think, fortunately, there are those who, and I've seen it in the State House and I watch it happen in Washington, and they look for either attention. They want to be in the spotlight, so they'll kind of push back on a certain nominee just to get that attention, or genuinely are not backing them to try to get favors or their priorities or their position on a specific committee. And so there are those that do what I call playing games. It's nothing we haven't seen before. I think it happens with some leaders from our particular state as well as others. And I think when it comes to Trump, he's picking the right people, and we know that, and they're going to be, confirmed. It's just those upstarts that have to, throw their weight around just to show they can. And I'm not calling out names, but, as Gary Loeffler did. So there you go.
Issue 3. On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 nil, 10 metaphysical certitude, what is the probability that Trump will have a grand slam of his 4 top appointments of Hegseth Patel at FBI, Gabbard at DNI, RFK at DHS, Hegseth, of course, at state? Grand slam all 4. I say all are confirmed. Jacob Hall, what say you? I say 10.
Yeah, I hate to do this, but I have to agree with you, John. It's going to be 10, and I think if it wasn't going to be, I think they would be laying the groundwork for it not to be, right?
Yes.
They'd try to be preparing the soft landing for some of us to accept that, but they're not doing that. And I think that, you can say a lot of things about some of the Republican senators that you mentioned, but the one thing they love more than anything is being a Republican senator.
Yes,
and if they would vote no on any of these guys, then they would be giving up their role as senator, because I can guarantee you they would lose their next election.
Oh, I would drive to South Carolina to primary Lindsey Graham. Gary, what say you?
I'm going to agree with Jacob on this 100%. I think that, Trump he is laying down the law. There is no Republican Party anymore. This party is bought and owned by Trump, and he will be calling the shots. And I think the will of the people, the mandate he got like we've never seen before in modern day history, I just think that he knows how to, he's not going to be guided by all of those fake people that he had in the last administration. He knows how the game is played this time around. And I just think that these 4 are going to make it. I mean, they tried everything under the sun. They tried to trump Pete. That's what they did. They were trying to trump him.
Yes.
And he showed, hey, and I'm sure that the calls between him and Trump are like, Pete, you just hang in there the way I did. We're going to get you through this thing. So this is going to be, he's going to grand slam this. And when we get these I want to say that. But there's some people that are trying to pretend like they're all of a sudden Doge. And I don't care what they say, because basically Elon and Vivek, they're going to have a wide swath. And I can't wait for those guys to get into action.
We'll go to Sherry Lynn. Sherry Lynn, I'll just say I have watched with great schadenfreude, to grab the old German term. I haven't seen so many people going to bend down and kiss the ring at Mar-a-Lago since Marlon Brando held court in the opening scene of The Godfather on the day of his daughter's wedding. His enemies are now underwriting his inauguration. There's a vibe shift, isn't there, Sherry Lynn? Does this mean Grand Slam, all four get confirmed?
I am, it's a 1 to 10 answer, but I'm coming in hot with an 11. And that's because anything that Cass Patel is involved in gets an extra 1 point. There you go. They're going to confirm them all. I think Gary makes a good point. People love jumping on bandwagons, and so for those who love that, they're going to jump on. They're just making noise, and the subject of Doge just drives me absolutely mad. I think who are we putting in the Senate position to deal with this committee? Where's Rand Paul? Where is Rand Paul? He's got his Festivus report every year.
Yep.
Rand Paul comes through with his waste reports.
Yes.
And why he's not at the helm of this, I don't know.
The only thing I think is
surprising to me.
The only thing I can think of is this also Corleonean in that keep your friends close and your enemies closer, perhaps, Sherry Lynn? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I hope that works. But I've seen it backfire on people because, it just depends. But, I'm sure that they have their reasons. I hope I hope we make them squeal, which was the catch line. And we'll see,
Well, the game changer now is that certain Democrats are signaling that they may wish to support some of the Trump nominees, which is prudentially very smart. When in Rome, and Fetterman has indicated he's voting for every single Trump nominee. That diffuses the holdout now. Now there'd have to be more than 4 holdouts because even if there are 3, even if there were 4 holdouts on the GOP side, Fetterman would reduce it to 3, which is the margin, and it would be 50-50, and JD could break the tie. And there's talks even that Bernie Sanders may vote for RFK. So, yeah, I think it's looking good for the Trump nominees. Issue 4. Joe.
Wait a minute. Hey, John, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I would like to hear your take. Janelle, my wife and I, we talk about Fetterman, not all the time, but the guy was like, I'm not wearing a suit. I'm going to wear what I wear. And then he was kind of like this nut job type guy. And then all of a sudden, he's basically he's it on the Democrat Party.
Well, I would never say they switched out a doppelganger for him because there was that crazy stuff on the internet that they switched a body double in. But think about it, if the Democrats had done that, they would have at least switched in a liberal. No, I think Fetterman is just thinking more clearly. He's physically better. He's mentally better. He's more healthy than he was. And, he can read the tea leaves in Philly, too. Philadelphia and Pennsylvania has a long history of blue-collar Reagan Democrats, and everyone can pick up the wind and the vibe. And, frankly, there have been overtures now. If you check out X last night, there are Republicans actively encouraging Fetterman to switch parties. So stay tuned.
I hadn't heard that.
So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Issue 4, ignominious Joe Biden. Who has had a worse swan song leaving office than Joe Biden? What is the worst gaffe of Biden in his final days? A, fleeing to the Virgin Islands for vacation while America's crime and terror situation is out of control. Is it sticking Trump with a very mean insistence that flags be at half-staff for Trump's inauguration? Is it giving parting gift awards, major awards, to the likes of George Soros and Liz Cheney? Or is it the pardons of child killers and mass murderers? I go to you, Jacob Hall.
There's nothing better than having a none of the above answer to one of these John Jacobson questions. My answer is going to be none of the above. The biggest gaffe Joe Biden has made is allowing, allowing his wife Jill Biden to go without him to Notre Dame, and then everybody in the world seeing the way that Jill Biden looked at Donald Trump as he sat right across from her.
We were looking for girls in high school that would look at us like that, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in anybody's mind after that. Everybody knows who Jill Biden voted for here in November.
Especially when she wore that red dress twice, both on Election Day and when she met President Trump to welcome him back to the White House, Gary Leffler.
Boy, I'm going to have to go with Jacob on this. I mean, this is not a multiple choice question. This is an essay question because, it's funny that you brought this up because last night I watched the top 50 Biden gaffes. And I was like, you forgot about 30 more of them, you know? But this whole idea of just 500 and some odd, 560 or 70 days of vacation time, I don't necessarily look at it in the terms of a gaffe, John. I just look at it as a total disservice to the American people. You know what? I mean, and the bureaucrats are running the show. I think you should have put on there, it's a crime. That's the way I look at this thing. This is not a gaffe. This is a crime against the American people.
It's really disappointing. Sherry Lynn, you get the final word here.
Well, I kind of agree there. I've troubled this whole past, 4 years of this horrible administration and calling it gaffes because some of these things are planned, some of these things are just bad, and then some are just pure evil. So it's hard to pick, and I would say all four are terrible, but the pardons, it's just pure evil, and the immigration situation is horrifying. In the fact that these are people's lives that are being affected, not only the American lives, which, we all know all the different problems this was creating and has created, and even going as far as murder, horrible things have happened to Americans, and then all these folks that are coming to America thinking they're going to have this better life, thinking this is a positive move for them, and we're going to now turn them away. Their lives have been disrupted. It's horrible for humankind, whether you're an American or not. This whole situation is just terrible for all involved, whether you're from the U.S. or you're not. It's disgusting what he's done, he and Kamala and the entire Democrat Party. I can't call it a gaffe, but it's disgusting. And I just cannot wait till January 20th. It's like, when can it come any faster?
On January 20 at high noon, after Donald Trump takes the oath of office, the first words out of his mouth should be to order the raising of all flags throughout the United States of America to full mast. Then he should go to Mar-a-Lago and set up the Southern White House and govern from Mar-a-Lago and make that the secure fortress for the Trump administration. Just like Reagan had his ranch, just like Nixon had San Clemente. There is historical precedent for this. Help is on the way. Many good things are around the corner. Guys, I look forward to continuing to bring you guys in, and I thank Jim and Cindy Jandrin both for their sponsorship of Life Runners, liferunners.org. Go get your t-shirt and help run for life. Life, preserving it from womb to tomb, helping expectant mothers and babies along the way. And Midwest Renewable Energy, LLC, out of eastern Nebraska, energy for a strong America, ethanol and renewable fuel, undergirding our ag families, keeping us energy independent, and keeping our food supply safe. It's lean, it's clean, and it's green. Here with Sean Torres on your home and away voice of the Kansas City Royals and the Ottawa Braves. This is John Jacobson, and for Jacob Hall and Gary Leffler and Senator Sherry Lynn Westridge, wishing you a happy 12th day of Christmas. It's the 12th night. Open up Shakespeare's 12th Night. Watch the John Wayne Christmas movie, Three Godfathers. Have some shrimp. Listen to J.S. Bach's Christmas Oratorio. And the wise men from the East, the Magi, come to travel. It says in Scriptures, he's born in Bethlehem. They knew. And they went to pay homage to Jesus Christ, our Lord, Messiah, our Christ, our King of Kings. Until we meet again, stay safe in the weather. Stay tuned for weather updates, cancellations here. Be safe, be smart, be good, be strong. Love Jesus Christ. God bless us, everyone. And don't go away. We'll be right back.